Hey everybody. We've been through a lot over the last 6 months. But right now what I want to talk about is DragonCon. So this was my 24th DragonCon, so I really need to do something special next year. But this is my 24th DragonCon, and I did go and visit my signage folks, and that was nice. But it was really kind of a homecoming for me coming back to the video gaming track. Because when I first started volunteering at DragonCon, well over a decade ago at this point, I was on the video gaming track, and at the time I was building out their World of Warcraft content, and it was kind of a team effort, and there was kind of a lot to like, we had a lot of success, but there were also a lot of things behind the scenes that were very challenging that had nothing to do with the video game track themselves, and all personal life stuff. So now I'm back, and I am building a home for Final Fantasy XIV at DragonCon. And because the community's there. They are there, and they absolutely showed that this weekend. They showed up in droves for the Sprout Social on Friday. The room was packed. We had people waiting outside to be able to come in. And I had the idea for some activities and things, but couldn't even try to do that kind of thing because there just wasn't enough space. So we definitely needed a bigger room for next year. But they had their awesome cosplays. We all were quietly in the background listening to 14 music that was from earlier stuff, so as not to be musically spoilery for the Sprouts. They showed up in droves for the 14 A Realm Relived panel, which was our lore roulette experience, and that was a blast and was hugely popular. And we had so many people still outside in line who couldn't get in. But don't worry, we are gonna do that panel again, and you won't have to wait until next DragonCon, because we are going to do that as a streamed panel at some point in the next couple of months, where we're going to be positioned in a place in-game and an in-game lecture hall, but also streaming the content as well. So it's shared and we have full voice and all that. So I'm very excited about being able to continue doing that. And then the Final Fantasy fish finding scavenger hunt, the fish, that went so well. And we still have a bunch of ribbons, so I think this year we're going to have to find some other opportunities to be able to give out those ribbons. But all in all, huge success. It was definitely difficult, but so many people rose to the challenge, and some of the folks you wouldn't necessarily expect are the ones that dove in the hardest. Like there was this adorable couple in Star Trek uniforms at the aquarium event who showed up, and they were so into the scavenger hunt. They were trying to find every single fish, including the bonus ones, and they were just all about it. And the glee on their faces when I handed them their ribbons, because they thought only one of them was going to get a ribbon. I was like, no, you both worked on it. You both get a ribbon. Good job. It was so precious. And I would not have made it through that event without Jinxie, which I need to fix her name in my captions. But yeah, she's the best. I love her. She was so gregarious, so outgoing, so much outward energy from her, and interacting with all these people, even at times when I got overloaded on the volume because the DJ just cranked the music way too high to the point where, like, you feel the beat of the music more than you feel your own heartbeat, which is real fun when your brain isn't that great at regulating how those things are supposed to go in the first place. Yeah, that was fun. But people really had a lot of fun with the scavenger hunt. I kept having folks come back to me and tell me, I love the way that this made me really look at the fish. Because a lot of times you think you're at a big event, it's a big kind of party, it's an aquarium, you just kind of wander by and you're like, oh, that's a fish. That is also a fish. Oh, look, more fish. But they were actually looking for specific fish, and it made them get a lot more observant and really focus on the animals and the habitats, which I thought was awesome. It got them thinking, and it really put them in more of a perceptive and educational mindset, which is a fantastic place to be when you're in an educational institution like an aquarium. But we also broke some records for the video game track with charity this year. I set up a new fundraiser format for the 14 community. Well, it's not new to the community. Artists use this for their tip jars and such all the time. And I thank them all for the inspiration. We had Chompin' for charity. So we were choosing what we were going to feed Grahatia with our donations. So Team Burger actually hit their $100 goal first, but Team Taco crushed it. Team Taco raised over $1,000. And altogether, with the online campaigns for Team Burger and Team Taco and the cash donations that we received at the Sprout Social, and I'm not kidding, I'm not making this up, we didn't plan this, we raised, as the 14 community, we raised exactly $1,337. I mean, how perfect is it that the video game community is like, leet, amazing. But I'm also just floored that we raised that much money in such a short period of time. And DragonCon was matching it dollar for dollar, up to the first 125,000 raised, and collectively as a convention, we passed that again this year. So maybe they'll raise the match cap again next year. But and as you can see, we were raising money for Cure Childhood Cancer. This community is fantastic. I got to actually socialize with people. I did the most socializing that I've done since before the pandemic. And it was wild, but also great. It was really nice seeing people. I was still masked for majority of the time. I did start taking it off for my panels to be more intelligible for captions, and because my mask is very opaque, which is not helpful if somebody's trying to have a sight line and lip read. So I would occasionally take it off for accessibility purposes, but for the most part, stayed masked the whole con. Washed my hands a lot, sanitized my wheelchair and my canes at least once a day. I was feeling kind of run down on Sunday, and somebody had been visiting with the previous morning had come down as sick. So I ended up going home on Sunday since all my stuff was done, and I wasn't feeling great, and I was tired and just overall exhausted. So I came home early, but it was nice being able to do that as well. So very excited about the future of Final Fantasy XIV at DragonCon. I'm going to be keeping an eye on how Palia does over the next years, and see if maybe we could do some Palia content at DragonCon next year. But lots of cool things in store, and I'm going to be definitely keeping busy with Final Fantasy XIV DragonCon video gaming content that's happening online between now and next year's DragonCon, because we are done with just spreading the joy that is Dragon Con to the 5 host hotels, America's Mart, and beyond. No. We kicked it over to another world. We kicked it into Eorzea this year, with the Eorzea Aquarium partnering with us to run a fish train. And we want to continue to do those kinds of crossovers because we don't really have a hard time selling memberships to Dragon Con. I mean, there's a cap at this point. So I personally don't see that there's value in generating FOMO of, oh, I wish I could have been there. I think now we really should pivot more towards accessibility, of growing our community and reaching out and keeping our far-flung community involved even when they can't physically be here for Dragon Con. Because we all love Dragon Con and the magic that goes along with it. But anyhow, I will be resuming my streaming soon. I have another parody to record that was written by a fellow member of the community in Palia who was so inspired by my parodies that they wrote one of their own and then asked if I would be willing to record it, which I thought was super sweet and super flattering. So I'm going to jump on that. And then this weekend, I am running a special official DragonCon video gaming story mode run of Pandemonium Normal 1 through 12. So we're doing all the raids on Saturday with a lot of the Final Fantasy XIV at DragonCon crew. So it's going to be a blast. We're going to see how many times I perish and how frequently we wipe, but should be some good clears for us, hopefully. Anyhow, y'all take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.